Good morning. Happy Monday. Starting off here a little on the negative side. Prices are a little extended. I think any kind of pullback is welcome, that things don't get too far ahead of themselves. So last I looked, the spiders SPY was gapping almost to the low of Friday's low. It was like right there. So a little bearish. I mean, it's not a wide range bar. It's a narrow range bar. So from looking for the positives from the bullish point of view on a negative open, it's good that it's a narrow range bar versus a wide one. Wide range bar being much more of a shock. Good morning, Fabio, and others there on YouTube. That being said, it is a little far from the 20 and the 50, of course. And so it does open the door to a further pullback. But theoretically, the pullback shouldn't go very far, meaning the way this has been going up, this kind of stair step pattern, well, it ignited from here, little step, good ignition, little step, smaller ignition, little step, a little smaller yet, extension. So there's only one red bar. There's a slowing momentum bars. It was kind of the way things have been moving. It's like, okay, excitement for a moment, and then, where'd everybody go? So, the gap up on Thursday from the red bar was certainly helped by interest rates gapping down, bonds moving up. So we'll see where that is here this morning. But anyway, as far as SPX goes, there's a bull market, so you got to be careful. And there isn't a whole lot of premium up there. You would think 4,200 now is pretty good resistance area. And so if you want to go up there, 4205 has some premium, not much, but with the gap down, I would wait to see if prices rally up. Now on the downside, this low here, right, is 41.39, call it 30, 41.40. And so 41.50, 41.40, hold on, prior bar, right, 70, right, 40, right here. Yeah, so 41.30, yeah, I've written down here, 41.50 is obviously going to be a point we're going to see if it's going to hold there, if we get some downside action. And there's some pretty good premium underneath. So 41.30 looks inviting. I think 41.20 and 25, which is not as much premium, are the no-brainers, but 41.30, I think, looks good. You got a pretty significant support area there. So that's really far away. If it gets down there, the faster it goes down there, the faster it's going to bounce off of there. So as always, we look at levels, we look at and then see where the market opens, what happens in the first 5, 10, 15 minutes or so. And so there's a support level there. And then 41.50 is going to be, you'll see there's nothing to the left. There's some minor support, which is I call subjective, but there's relatively, relative to what's around it, the open interest there is higher. So I think that is going to be an important level to see if buyers show up at. And then as far as a spread, I said 41.30, I think should be okay. As best as anyone could take a educated guess, that's pretty far away. So if prices drop here a bit at the open, that opens up a little bit, maybe even go to 25. Anyway, somewhere in this area is where, we'd call you get to go home today, right? From the Trading Day movie. All right. Everything's in uptrends. So bullish market, and we go and look at other things because, now the Russell isn't in an uptrend, but S&Ps, you can see the narrowing momentum bar. the beginnings of what may be, and then we're looking at 24 hours, right? Head and shoulders top. We shall see what happens here. So you can see this level right here, just above 4150 is going to be a key level because there's nothing to stop it from going down. If it should break here, of course, that doesn't mean it's going straight down. But we look to the left and say, well, where are the levels? So this pivot here, that's at 4160. And then you've got two pivots here just above 50. So, and the gap down and the sideways price action and the wide range bar, so new high, upside shakeout. So short term, some bearish price action, which signals that prices can go lower if they violate these levels here. And, down below here, I'm not saying that's happening, but look, we've got a pattern here where we've got an igniting bar sideways, nice move up, sideways, nice move up, sideways, and a wide range bar. This 4120 level is very important to hold on a short-term basis. It wouldn't violate the uptrend, but common sense. Went sideways here for 3 days, it ignited higher, and breaking below that leaves overhead supply. And then from there, we see how far it pulls back. YM, same story, upside, 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 up, little opening, little negative opening in the middle of the range here, going sideways, really not much going on. Weekly trend looks fine. And just opposing pivots, highs and lows here. Stay out of the way. There's a message there. Qs. Bear sandwiches, Dan calls it. Who would have thought this wasn't going to follow through to some degree after that red reversal bar? Certainly not me. I thought it was going down. When you see a breakout and a reversal bar that closes that deep into an expanding range bar, historically, that is going lower. Not this market. No. So up it went, and in part, again, TBT had gapped down, interest rates, blah, 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 inflation, no worries there. According to the Fed chair and others, it's going to be okay. Meanwhile, they're pumping trillions into their printing presses going all night. And so it was good for those that had concerns about inflation, that interest rates pulled back. So here we get a very significant support level. This is going sideways intraday. If it should break here, it opens up the door to the void below. And so this is what we'll be looking for. There should be buyers here. And with a daily pattern like this, kind of confusing. And so what I'm going to do, as far as this pattern goes, is ignore this and focus on this today as to what is likely to happen, because look, this traded down, it traded up. In reality, what's beyond to the left here, it doesn't matter, right? This moved back up, and this is what matters. So this would be a greater than 100% retracement to break here, which would be a foolish place to short rather than wait to see if prices retrace or go sideways. So, we've got one of these mornings here where it certainly doesn't look like to do anything until, and especially on a Monday, till we get some extra data. Somebody in the chat room saying to all panel attendees, who's posting that? It just says from all panelists and attendees to all panelists and attendees. Love the way you see this exceptional clarity. Well, look, when you're doing something for 30 years, if you can't see things relatively clear, you've been doing something wrong. I'll tell you what most have been doing wrong, that flip-flop and can't see things clearly or change. They got a whole bunch of squiggly lines on the chart called indicators. you know, and they have to reinvent their method day to day to convince you to buy their indicators. So we just simply look to the left, look to the left. Hey, where's the support? There's a little shelf here. We'll see if it holds. If this breaks, that's bearish. Pretty darn simple. All right, Russell, I kind of was hopeful, tell you the truth, that this could hold here and get a move on because, as an intraday trade, that would have been a nice trade. And now it's just this sideways chop that's going nowhere. And, it's under Friday's low, but I don't know how meaningful that is with a pattern like this. Probably not meaningful at all. But, this was rejected. This attempt here was rejected to the downside as it broke and it came back up. But then it went nowhere. And, going sideways here, this was kind of rejected as it went up. But so maybe this is just more sideways. Well, it is. Not maybe, it is. And so we wait to see if this thing can get out of its own way here or here. 208 put spread. I think you know what, McGraw, I don't know why. Put spread, of course, less margin, but with that being such a significant level, I might consider just selling a naked put down here. It's going to bounce. If it fell from here, it's going to bounce. But of course, if it was falling, you're going to get a lot more money, but you got a significant support level there, right in that area. So makes sense to me. All right. And here, bonds. All right, moving down a little bit pretty aggressively here. So this was, that up day up into resistance there, but falling pretty hard. And 10-year dumping, overall bottoming price action, a little baby breakout bar failure going on here. It really wasn't rallying. It was sideways and up, but you see the range expansion inside bar, and then it breaks the low. So for short-term traders, that's a reason to step aside with that type of a pattern because it's supposed to be a 1, 2, 3 and go up here to tag the 50 near that pivot high, and it's not happening. So good indication to get out of the way. And so this was the gap down that occurred. Market liked that little relief from the interest rate threat of this going up to 2.0. But coming back up here, markets are down. So a lot of wiggles and jiggles. And we don't want that. We want the transports, which have just been going sideways up here. So keep an eye on this. Because while you may not be trading this, it's an important level as far as a market reference point to see if the transports hold this level or break below this pivot. Breaking below this pivot is going to be a short-term bearish sign. So keep an eye on that. Crude oil, looking good. Those oil ETFs didn't get turned around, but maybe they do with oil popping up here. Gold improving, and still got work to do for some kind of a big move, but short term it's looking much better. And silver got the resistance, so backing off from there. Let's see what it's done there. Well, yours, Dan.
That's all you got?
That's all.
So we're going to chill at the open, which is good. Get the screen. Looking at opens here, as always, it's my first step. See if we have any either problems or gifts. We have a half lot of a number of put spreads. I see they're coming in a little bit, but we've tightened the stop, so there's no management there. Spot, T-Doc, Crowd. Well, Crowd's a new trade over Friday's high, but everything looks fine, so feel free to ask me any questions. Yeah, TAN, we've been watching for a while, and it's gapping up here. So yeah, we do have this as a put spread, maybe 30-minute high. We can do a directional. It's a bottoming pattern. Bottoming pattern. We did a chart of the week on an oil stock bottoming pattern, and yeah, this could have very easily been another one. We did that MT Live recently, where we went over a bunch of them. Yeah, DKS is a put spread idea. We did, I mentioned something to Greg, which was interesting on breadth. I mentioned it in the video on the weekly, but I forgot to in the other one. In terms of breadth, the market at all-time highs, I found 343 bearish wide range bars. So we actually had a number of shorts in the advisory letter. And there was only like 43 bullish ones. That could jump out at you and scratch your head. Why is that? And the answer is because that's breadth. The market's been going up on a lot of the leaders, but under the hood, there's some damage going on, which is how we got all those bottoming patterns to talk about a week and a half ago. Jose Abbott Bax. Yeah, just continuation. There's a void there, so that's fine. Bax, it's kind of a 1, 2, 3. You kind of had two of them in a row. But I like this multi-week rest, and I like the gap reversal. So that's not bad. I posted Coke as a watch here. It's, gapping up on earnings, same type of multi-week consolidation there. David, AA put spread. Yeah, we have that in our weekly. Oh, no, it's not it. Yeah. We're going to do the naked 33s and take assignment if needed. Yeah, so that's exactly what we're doing, selling the naked 33s in our advisory letter. ACN dish. It's a stair-stepping strong trend, that's for sure. On all these new trades, though, as I've been saying the last 2 weeks, we want the mothership to be on our side, and it has been. But now, if we're getting the gap down and the potential turn, I'm going to be that much more cautious on new longs. So would I buy ACN with the gap down on the market today? No, I wouldn't. Although the stock is strong. And Dish, same. I don't like Thursday's topping tail, because think about it. At the high, that was a beautiful big wide range igniting bar, and it got slammed. And so that, coupled with what I just said about the market, SWKS, same. I don't, two things. I don't like the way it trades. The bars are too wide and erratic. You got another topping tail at resistance, and you got two inside bars, and it's gapping down. So I don't have any interest in that one. JR Guild. It's just not quality enough. I mean, it ran from the bottom to the top. It needs to consolidate. So again, it's not a great pattern. And number two, market. I just looked over and saw our FUBO down. We have long puts on this, so that's a nice start to the day. Let me continue with my list here. Work. I see one print up here gapping up, but this was a big inverse head and shoulders. So that over the high looks good. ESEA, big gap, $13. Now this would be, I would love this if it were just gapping to the low 12s. And then I would say 10-minute high. It still could go, target 14, but I would have preferred it low 12s. Okay, and now 22 gap's too big and it's really tight here. I don't know if that's a buyout or what, but yeah, gap's too big for me. Can so bearish consolidation, maybe 30-minute low on that. Ambo, little dollar stock here, 245, gapping right to resistance. Marlin, I don't like the way it trades, all these overlapping bars, but it's a bullish gap, but too big for me. Yeah, I saw in the video down 18 bucks or so. Yeah, yeah, 618. Yeah, this could be it's still bullish, daily, weekly, monthly, but that's an ugly wide range bar down, little sell setup. Well, it depends, Dallas, what type of trade you're talking about and on what time frame. If you're talking about selling a call spread, then no, it's not too late. If you're talking about a day trade, we can always get setups intraday. Swing trade, maybe. If the market's going to sell off 618 right here, sure, it has room to fall 20 bucks. So, but we got to see how it sets up in the first 30, 60 minutes. K&L we talked about. With Herman getting whacked, 38.45, that's a big gap. That gap's too big. I mean, it surprises me. I don't know if that's earnings or news, but we talked about shock patterns, MT Live on Wednesday, and that's definitely a shock pattern. You got rising 2050 and it's gapping under this pivot. That's an ugly gap. This, what do we got? MTB had earnings and I don't see any prints, so you know, it could be a breakout. Gems. Oh, so you're thinking the video put spread. I have no idea, but remember, we do not sell put spreads far from the 20 MA. So yeah, I don't know what you're thinking, Jim. If you know, maybe it sells off to 600 and get a reversal. I'm not quite sure what you, but it's not even. It's so far away. It's not even in my realm to want to sell a put spread on that. I got so many other bullish patterns, like I showed you work, WRK, TAN, um, you know, DKS. I guess I have zero interest in that being in my head right now. All right, cool, David Campbell. ARK, ARKK. 122. I heard Kramer. So it's neutral. It's in a big fat range, but it is a bearish gap. It is a bearish gap under these 4 bars. Maybe 30-minute low short. I could see this coming to 115 if the markets are going to start selling off. But I heard Kramer saying something about that the Kathy Woods, not something with the Emperor's clothes not being on, whatever. So I didn't hear the whole story, but the implication of that, what he was trying to say was there's something going on there, and there could be some cockroaches when when the truth comes out. I saw some headline that she was buying more coin on a Friday. Tesla is a thing, obviously, and that's down 18 bucks or so. Um, they had a car problem over the weekend with 2 people died, unfortunately. Fizzler got an upgrade, so that's helping our TAN. Possible 30-minute high, possible put spread. Let's keep an eye on that, McGraw. Orly, positive mention, and Barron's, and his 2 cousins, AZO, and the other one. Look at these moves these car companies have done. Look at that. Can you believe that? Last 6 weeks? I was reading in Barron's and I think I might get Greg some symbols, but lumber has been on a tear. That housing sector, I guess, just passing it on and people buying the houses. So whether they said lumber is up 300% from last year at this time, and it's up 50% in just the last month. And look, it didn't affect this whatsoever. Compare that to you know how airlines, this whole pandemic kind of messed up the relationships of so many things, but in the past it used to be a very, very accurate move on. You see oil rising, airlines get hurt because that's their biggest expense. Keeps on CMR. ACMR, we have this as a short, so 5-minute low, obviously. Let me just remind our subscribers, everything's ACMR, box. Jesse Apple, on the whole 130 Apple, ATVI. Apple, it's like it's extended its resistance, and the market's questionable. So I'm not sure if you're saying you're in it and want to trail, or if you're like, again, I've been saying it a couple times. I got no real interest in a bunch of new longs here. ATVI, there's nothing to do. It's range now. But if it takes out Friday's high, I wouldn't mind being long. So yeah, Cahelan, yeah, we wait 5 minutes. Yeah, no, if I do anything other than 5 or 30, it's just a judgment call because I'm wanting to see, what the market bias is going to be. But no, it's not. It's 5 if they've triggered. Slow has 148% short interest. Yeah, even wow, 148%. That sounds like happened to GME that time. Yeah, let's keep an eye on it. Like GME actually was in the news today. The CEO stepping down, plus something I read where that the Reddit boy, Wall Street Bets boy,